What's going on, everybody? Movie Phantom here, and yes, it's Tuesday. Got ourselves another top 3, but not exactly. And I'm going to get to that here in a second, so just bear with me. But last week, we asked the question, the top 3, what would be your top 3 haunted houses? And guys, got some responses. I want to thank everybody who responded up first. Simon Terrell from Open Grave hit me up, and he said at number 3, the glass Rubik's Cube kind of place, from 13 Ghosts, the remake. And yeah, very iconic looking, I think. I love the structure. It's just like, it was all glass, had all that weird writing shit on the walls. And it was constantly moving and shit, you know. It was getting them all to the center there. But yeah, that's freaking sweet right there. Number 2, Amityville Horror. That's gonna pop up a lot on here. Right? There's like 2 or 3 of them on here that just popped out like every, you know. So yeah, there's that. And then his number 1, it was the Waverly Hills Sanitarium. That's the real name of it. He couldn't remember the actual name, you know, because where they filmed it at. But the movie is called Death Tunnel. I have not yet seen that, but he recommended it. But yeah, the house in there. So Simon, thank you, my man. Melissa, 1986, hit us up, and she said number 3, it's the House on Haunted Hill from the House on Haunted Hill. Yes, and I don't know if you meant the original or the remake, but I think the remake especially. Just because it's on my it's my top 3 too. It's actually my number 3 as well, and it's because the old asylum it's creepy as hell. Number 2 was also Amityville Horror, and number 1, Poltergeist. And I wasn't a huge fan of the movie. I can see that, and I'll tell you why. It's because at least with The Grudge as well, it's just so ordinary. And I mean that's the point of it. It's like just any house in America, any suburban American house. And of course, it becomes haunted and everything. So yeah, I can definitely see that. So thank you, Melissa. Appreciate that. My boy, Ghostface Kid 101 hit us up, and his number 3 was also 13 Ghosts. So his 2 was Poltergeist, and number 1, the House on Haunted Hill. So yeah, I've seen a theme there, but hey, you picked the best. What can I say? Zuma Senior hit us up, and he said that here's the thing. He hit up with 3 of them, and I haven't seen one of them, but 2 of them were clearly not haunted houses. Now, I'm going to let one slide, because I did specify haunted houses that were haunted, not necessarily famous houses, and he may have just misunderstood, but he said number 3, he said the cabin from the Blair Witch Project. Not haunted. Now, if you go with, there was the cabin in part 2, when they show up there, I mean, all that's left's like the foundation, and there's just a tree in the middle, and remember, there's a twig, but then it grows into this massive fucking, giant tree. I will almost let that slide, not necessarily because it's haunted, but clearly some weird shit went down. Like, you don't know if they were haunted, or if they were just all psychotic, or what the deal was. But his number 2 is Psycho, so that leads me to believe that he probably was just going with famous horror houses instead of haunted houses. So, and I can't give that to you because Norman Bates was clearly just psycho. No ghost driving him. Except maybe, maybe you guys can help me out who's ever watching this video. I know they did, before Bates Motel became a TV series, there was like a TV pilot. They were doing it in the late 90s, early 90s if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it maybe Bates Motel also. I can't remember though. But anyway, it's supposed to be like it's going to be a TV series, and they just made a pilot out, and that was it. But was it haunted in that one, or? I don't know. Y'all get back with me. If it was haunted, I'll let you have it. You get the point. And his number 1 is Horror House from the upcoming Zuma Jr. film, Horror House 2. So, and the first one, obviously. So thank you, Zuma. Appreciate it. And finally, Sky Dark hit us up. Number 3, The House from House. Boom. Haven't seen that in a while. I did like that. I did enjoy that. Number 2, Poltergeist. And number 1, which was my number 1, The Grudge. So, I want to thank everybody who participated. Thank you very much. Now, I know, supposed to be top three Tuesday, but I want to go different direction. Now, during this giant hiatus, like I said, I kept in contact mostly with 13th Wolfman. We constantly talked back and forth, and I threw this at him one time, just because we always kind of just threw stuff at each other, and so I threw this question at him, and I was like, I'm gonna bring that up at some point, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just take a break. I know we're everything's kind of getting restarted here, but let's just take a little detour real quick. So we're doing a question of the week instead of a top three. I hope you guys forgive me there. But my question is, I'm a big chess fan, just love playing chess, and you always see like these different chess boards, In fact, I got one over there right now. It's like it's vampires versus werewolves, but it got different chess sets for everything, and I'm like, okay, if you used to make a horror chess set, what kind of chess set would it be? And more, I guess what I'm trying to say is, what would you assign each of the pieces? Now, I'm just going to go basic with you guys. Just give me a king, queen, rook, knight, bishop, and the pawn. If you guys want to break it up into, the blacks and the whites, or I guess I should just say good and evil. I mean, I don't want to make it sound racist or anything, but you know what I mean. If you want to break it up like that, you can. If you want to have, assign each bishop differently, you can. It's up to you. I'm just going to give you guys the bare bones. I'm not going to go through on the white side, the rook would be this. The first rook would be this. The king's rook would be, no, none of that. I'm just going to give you the bare bones, six pieces, king, queen, bishop, knight, rook, pawn. But you guys, whatever you guys want to do. Sweetie, you get your list over here.
Okay.
Now, this real quick.
Mine are villains.
But she went TV for a month. Is it all TV or?
Yeah.
So she went TV, and then
they're villains though.
She went ABC Family with it. I love you, sweetie. I really do. But I did help her with.
All these are ABC except for that one and that one.
Well, they're both from ABC Family though. The station I broadcast is ABC Family.
The other ones are ABC.
Oh, well, excuse the hell out of me. But so she gives me the list that she wants to use, and then I try to fit them the best I could. We'll start from the bottom and work our way up. Let's do a pawn. Who do you got for your pawn?
Mona from Pretty Little Liars.
Mona from Pretty Little Liars. So
she was at the
first two seasons.
First two seasons.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's go. What's your rook?
Ursula.
Ursula. What's that from?
Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time. Alrighty.
She's the octopus in the water.
Oh yeah. Well,
from the Mermaid.
Little Mermaid, yeah. What's your knight?
A. From Pretty Little Liars.
We don't know who that is. So you just have that represented by a person in a hoodie, right?
Yeah.
Alright. Bishop.
Maleficent.
Is that how you pronounce it, Maleficent? We got no. I don't know if it's Maleficent. The Angelina Jolie bitch. Now, you're shooting it from her, or is it from
Once Upon a Time?
Once Upon a Time. Okay. Got you. Queen.
The evil queen.
The evil queen
from Once Upon a Time.
And can you tell what show she's watching right now? And then king.
The dark one.
From
Once Upon a Time.
Son of a bitch. There you go. So there it is. That's hers. Now for me, this is pretty tough because, do you go favorites? Because if it was favorites, I'd have to have Michael Myers rocking the king, and I couldn't do that. So here's who I picked. Here's from the ground up. I'm going to tell you who I picked and why. For the pawns, I would have a zombie. And I would have the first zombie they encounter in the original Night of the Living Dead. Because he's just so iconic, and to me, whenever I think of a zombie, I just think of him. And let's just face it, because they are pawns. If you were in this big epic battle between, two, horror, whatever, you would have the zombies be your pawns. You just send them out there and, most of them get taken out and hope a couple get across the board. So that's who I pick. The rook, I was going to go with an actual horror villain, but then I was like, well, especially on this chess set, I know it's on some other ones too, Sometimes a person or whatever character, but then a lot of times they just go with, because it's a castle, in the regular chess set, they go with like a building or a house or whatever. So I'm gonna go with even though I say the Grudge is my number one, I think the most iconic looking would be the Amityville house. So I'd go with the Amityville house as my rook. The knight, I'm going with Jason Voorhees. And the only reason he gets it, because I'm just like, anybody can kind of fall into that role, but I was like, he's going to be knighted. And what are you knighted with? Normally a sword. But in this case, it's going to be a machete. That's the only reason he gets it. It's like, hey, I want to see him get knighted, before he heads out to battle. So, knighted with his own machete. And Bishop, typically a religious type character. Usually a lot of, religious imagery there. Hand back. I went with Pinhead, because I just think that's kind of interesting that, on this dark villain, the horror villain side, they would have, like, as their priest, if you will, Pinhead. So... Now the king and queen, I'm gonna go reverse for a second. Just bear with me. I actually went more old school. I went Universal horror with my king and queen. I went Dracula. Like right off the bat, I was like, who could be the mastermind behind this army? Who can lead the army? And after searching, I was like, well, Dracula could. I mean, shit. Dracula, that's what he does. He manipulates. He controls, and he bites you in the neck and sends you on your way. And then I was like, well, I don't really want to have just like, one of the multiple brides of, Dracula. So then I changed it up a little bit. I went with the Bride of Frankenstein as the queen. And so there you go. That's who I have. As my king is Dracula. My queen, the Bride of Frankenstein. Bishop is Pinhead. Knight, Jason Voorhees. Rook, the Amityville house. And then the first zombie you see in Night of the Living Dead as the zombie. Or as the pawn, sorry. So I want to know who would you have in your horror chess set. And once again, all I'm asking is for at least the 6 pieces. If you want to go more in depth, by all means, please do. You guys know how to do it at this point. You can leave the comment right down below. Video response. I would love to hear the video response. And then, of course, when you do your video response, excuse me, take the address up above, and then you post it on my page down in the comment section. And then, of course, if you are following me over on Facebook or Twitter, hell, hit me up over there. So, alright, well, on behalf of my lovely girlfriend Maya, I am the movie Phantom, and yeah, we're out of here.